Thank you, Ben. The time is now 7:02, and I would like to call the Beloit City Council meeting to order at this time. Can we have a roll call, please?
All councilors are present.
Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. May we all stand, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, special orders of the day. Item 3A, we doing that. City Manager Luther.
I would invite our Public Works Director to come forward with several individuals who have been recently appointed in the Public Works Department.
Come on down. City Council Chair, City Manager Luther, I am excited tonight to introduce to you some not new faces, but some new positions and roles for some of the faces that you've seen in our Public Works Department. And first off, I would like to share that Jody Saunders has been promoted to the official Director of Public Operations in Public Works. So congratulations, Jody. Also, we have recently promoted Paula Schutz. She was our manager over at Grinnell Hall, and now she is our recreation coordinator. She's done an awesome job in expanding programs, and we are excited to have her do some more of that for us with recreational services. So, congratulations. And then also I have with me Paul, boy, what is the matter with me? I told you I wasn't feeling the best today. I apologize. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry. I have Mark Edwards with me, who is also doing our interim Parks and Recreation Services division head for us. And so we're excited to have Mark on the team as well. So, does any of you want to say anything?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, call me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 3B, please.
Item 3B is an introduction of Public Works mascots, P.W. Fox and Professor Water.
Oh, Harry, are they? Oh, there they are. Here they come. We are so excited. We have some new team members that have been joining the Public Works Department, and they are helping us with our public education outreach. Harry?
Oh, sure. Thanks. A critical function of the Water Resources Division's Public Information Program is to promote the importance of clean water in the myriad ways the division protects our natural resources and what the public can do to help. Excuse me. Since 2011, P.W. Fox has been the face of Public Works and has helped spread our message at numerous events and activities. In 2018, we are introducing P.W. Fox's partner, Professor Water. Professor Water will help us understand how our activities affect our natural world, describe what we can do to minimize our impact, and help us preserve and protect our environment. Please join me in welcoming Professor Water to the Public Works team.
Hi, I'm Professor Water.
No kidding.
Yes, I am. Today, I am here to talk to all of you, and all of you too. Just don't worry, you're included. I am here to talk to all of you about... Brussels sprouts. Yes. No. Bunnies. Yes, I love bunnies. Bunnies are... Oh, what's my name? Oh, yes, Professor Water. I'm here today to talk to you about water. Now, it's not just me talking, of course. Well, PW can't talk, but I'm mostly talking, yes. But once we launch our Facebook page, it's part of my grand plan, you know. Once we launch our Facebook page, we will have Water Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, we'll put out a message about water and wastewater and other wonderful things that we deal with in the water department so that the public can know what we're doing. Yes, see, he's happy. He's very happy. PW, you look a little tired. Why are you tired? Is it because we're on call 24 hours a day? That might be why, yes. You also look like you're feeling a bit sad. Are you sad that I'm going to steal all of your limelight? Well, you know you're still the Public Works Department mascot. Yes, huzzah! So does anyone have any questions for PW? Too bad he can't talk. I can answer any of your questions, though, if you have them for him or for me.
Any questions?
Gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. It's so nice to meet you.
Well, thank you. Oh, by the way, I'm an educator. It says so right here on my name tag.
Will you be visiting the schools?
Yes, we will. Yes, PW and I are going to go to the schools. We have an agreement now with the middle schools to go, what is it, once a month during school? Something like that, yes. We'll be going and educating all the small children about the wonderful things the Department of Public Works and Water does for them.
Oh, good.
And don't forget to go to our public library.
Oh, of course. That's where they have the
Gonna
books
throw
about
that
water.
in. Like that. Here we go.
Well, thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank
We're
you.
going to go. He's hungry.
Yeah, good job. Great.
Thank you very much for allowing us to come to council. And as you can see, Public Works, we do try to have a little bit of fun along with all the other things that we do. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We move on to item 4, public hearings. There are none tonight. Item 5 is public comments. We reach the point of the agenda where citizens may come forward to speak on anything that's not on the agenda. We do give you 3 minutes to speak. I will not cut you off, but I'll give you a friendly reminder that you're approaching your 3-minute mark. We do ask you to refrain from any personal attacks from citizens, counselors, and staff. If it goes down that road, I would ask you to sit down immediately. We do have one individual that completed a form. If you did not complete a form, you still may speak at this time. The first individual is Austin Montgomery. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, counselors. I'm usually just over here, but this will be my first time addressing you. Austin Montgomery, 409 Fairview Avenue, Rockford, Illinois, but I am here on behalf of the Beloit Daily News, 149 State Street, and Editor-in-Chief Bill Barth. The Beloit Daily News objects to the council closing out the public from hearing discussions regarding the release of potentially damaging substances from the Winnebago foundry in South Beloit. There's a clear public interest in information because other vehicles throughout the general vicinity of the foundry may have been at risk for possible damage. Besides, this has been handled by City Hall as an insurance claim, and vehicles in question have already been cleaned and detailed. Using the litigation or likely litigation exception contained in the Wisconsin Open Meetings Law seems a stretch when a remedy has already been concluded by the detailers. The Beloit Daily News respectfully asks the council reconsider any intention to move into closed session for the discussion in order to fully inform the people of the status of the foundry matter. Should the council disregard the request, the newspaper will consider the option of asking the Rock County District Attorney's Office and/or the Wisconsin Attorney General's Office to review the closure as a violation of the Open Meetings Law. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager Luther.
Thank you. We don't typically respond to public comment, but in this case we will. There is an open claim with the foundry. There is no final release or settlement of this claim, and as such, there is potential for litigation for ultimate resolution. That is the purpose of the closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak under public comments this evening? Anyone else wishing to speak under public comment this evening? Third and final call. Anyone else wishing to speak under public comment this evening? Seeing none, I will close that portion of the agenda and move to item 6, please.
All items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Thank you. Item 6 is the consent agenda. Is there anyone like any item removed from the consent agenda, which consists of items 6A through 6D? I would like 6D removed from the consent agenda. Any other items removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda will consist of items 6A through 6C. Is there a there's motion by Jacobson and second by Duncan to approve that portion of the consent agenda. All those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 6A through 6C passes 7-0. Item 6D, please.
Item 6D is consideration of resolution amending the Class A beer and Class A intoxicating liquor license for Walmart Supercenter 2532 for an outdoor premise extension. What I can share with you this evening is that Walmart Supercenter, located at 2785 Milwaukee Road, they submitted a complete application for renewal of their Class A beer and Class A intoxicating liquor license with the existing premise description. Upon receipt of that renewal, we also received a request to amend their premise description to include their new grocery pickup service area. The applicant is seeking to amend their premise description from that of one room, one story, approximately 200,084 square feet, to one room, one story, approximately 200,084 square feet, including stalls and/or canopy locations in the parking lot, specifically designated for online grocery pickup. We did confirm with the planning department director that there is no need for a conditional use permit on this property. This is a trending function among Walmarts and Woodmans in the area, and I included an article that might have been of some help from the league, offering some lawfully addressed questions with this request. Walmart did include a procedure guide and drawings with their request to amend their application, and this was reviewed by the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee at their May 8th meeting, and they recommended approval by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. Before discussion, can we get a motion to start to discuss, get it on the table to discuss? Motion by Duncan, is there a second? Second by Blakely. And I believe we have some Walmart representatives here, so I think it's okay if I ask questions of them, if they could come forward at this time. Again, I just have a couple of questions. I'm concerned, we just recently had in the paper and the news where we had zero on our compliance checks, surprise compliance checks, where we reached zero violations, which is really tough to do in the city. We've been working on that year after year after year, so we're at that point. My concern is now that it seems as though we have that under control, now we're getting ready to take on a whole new, lack of a better word, a whole new beast now, that we're going to have to pretty much start all over. I mean, as far as the policies, I want to make sure that those are tight, that we're not going to get down the road and have to come back and say we need to refigure some things out. So as far as we go with Walmart, I guess, how are we going to be ensured that some stores you go to, if they have underage people selling, they have to call for a manager, they have to have someone come forward. How are we going to be assured that, one, that's not going to happen in this situation? Two, I know if you're in lines in some places, if it's 5 minutes to 9 and you pick up something, by the time you get to the register, if it's 9 o'clock or after, they don't sell. But my biggest concern is we're out there by the highway, and in previous years, one of the things that the councils have been concerned about is we're out there by the highway, especially with the compliance checks, that people could get in and get out on the highway and anything could happen. I know this is a new trend. I hear it on the news a lot, and I just want to be very cautious. I'm really uneasy about this. Not saying that it's a bad thing, but I don't know if it's been vetted out. But those are a few of the questions that I have.
What question do you have?
The question, how are we going to make
can't
sure that
answer what
underage
cities-
people are not being sold to? Do you have any?
Yep, I'm going to reference page 3 in the documents that you guys, I'm hoping, have access to. And I'll address the first. There's hours of service, so the online pickup is only between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.,
Okay.
which satisfies the requirements for that question. When a customer arrives, well, I'll skip down. So the age requirement, that's also a question. You're correct. A cashier in the building is not, that's under the age requirement to sell. That does have to flick their light or a notification is sent. That's different for the online grocery. Nobody in those positions will be under that age. So there'll be no light flicking, or they're all of age to sell the products. It's a much more controlled environment, even though it's outside. Inside, when you purchase alcohol, and I'm sure people have here, the cashier has the ability to, if someone appears under 40, to then check for ID. Okay, that's what they're required to do. If you look over 40, they're not gonna ID you. If you look under 40, that's what we require for them to do, which I'm sure leaves a ton of room there. And then it's really up to the cashier at that point. And we have not had any violations. That was notated at the liquor board meeting the other day. So what we place for this is and it goes on in a little bit more depth, the amount of warnings that are placed on our website for that. But if you're picking up alcohol, does the customer appear over 40? It's everyone. So if I go pick up alcohol, I have to show my ID. They don't get to question that. Their handheld or doesn't get to let them go further until they put the age in.
Okay.
And then if I were to order something online, there's a window of waiting period. I think it's 4 hours before you're able to pick it up, and you're picking times. So it's not like I'm at home and I need some more stuff right now, and I'm gonna go pick it up. There's a window of waiting period there, which I'm hoping solves some of your concerns.
Okay. I mean, it does. I just the age thing, and I get it that if they're in the car, you're going to ID everyone. But I guess I'm concerned that if someone slips through that crack of not being ID'd properly, I mean, I'm just concerned about
They're
this.
not able.
They're
not able to. There's no crack to slip through. There's no crack to slip through. It has to be keyed in.
Have to be of age.
They have to see the ID. Yeah, so I don't.
Okay. I mean, do you have these at other locations already that you've kind of tested and?
Yeah, like the Mugwanago, Wisconsin store has it. I talked to that store manager before I came to the last meeting, and they've had zero problems. And I know you're probably thinking I'm going to say that, but they haven't had any problems because like I said, the rules are much stricter doing this process than if you were just to walk into the store and go and pick up something that's age required. This is a much stricter policy. It's not paid for. So if you come pick it up and they ask for your ID and you say, I didn't bring it with me today, I'm clearly of age, the cashier or the associate would say, you don't get that, take it off your order, and you would receive everything and then pay for that at the time. I don't know why you're driving without the ID, but that's for someone else to worry about that. There really are. It's a much stricter process for someone to get through, and it's much harder to do that to what you're worried about.
Okay. Any other questions?
Kevin?
Art?
I just want to say I read this over last week when we got the agenda packet, and I worked retail for 16 years in corporate retail, and I was pretty impressed with the thoroughness of what you put together. I've seen plans from corporate, and this is way above anything that the people I work for could have ever put together.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of crazy ideas for online order pickup and stuff. This is very well thought out, very, very well, and I would assume it'll be well executed.
Yeah, we've even went to the extent, we have a separate salaried manager, Jenny here, who is just responsible for that. So it's one manager for 15 associates.
And it's a locked area.
Which for me, that's a lot of managerial payroll, but that's the level of importance, and that it is kind of a changing times.
Yes.
And we're just trying to keep up
Nobody's
with
figuring
that.
out how to skin the grocery cat versus online, so
Yes.
maybe this will be the
Yeah.
one that does it. Who knows? Anyway, but I just wanted to compliment you
Thank you.
on the thoroughness of the plan, and whoever came up with it pretty much thought of everything. Until you get facial recognition apps that you can all share with each other, maybe that would be another addition.
Maybe we'll come up with
Thank you.
that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Regina?
I just had a couple things.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, do you anticipate, or it seems like quite a bit of space, how do you anticipate dealing with issues perhaps of loitering? And then just to say, or to encourage you in another sense to partner with our local police department?
Yeah, we've dealt with loitering before, and we have done a wonderful job with the police department here, whether it be with, I've been here for 3 years at this store, whether it be for the volume of the larger trucks in our parking lot. Through some time, we came up with a really good approach for that. And the loitering has gotten, I know that was an issue for a while there, but it was an issue all over the place from what I understand. And we got our property lines clearly identified with the city, which helped us out a lot with that. And I think I haven't seen someone out there in a really long time. Outside of my property lines, I can't do much about that, but we do keep a close eye on that. I don't know if you've driven past the store with the big orange corner. There's a new kind of door on the side with a window in it now for the online grocery pickup associates. It is a much changed environment. I think the environment through the remodel this last year, where we spent a sizable amount of money on the building, has really changed and developed the store into a different store than it was 3 years ago. Hopefully you guys shop there more. I won't ask for a show of hands.
I'm there. But you don't see, to Vice President Duncan's point, not so much with the loitering, but you don't anticipate more of, I bought it in the parking lot, I might as well sit here. And I mean, overall, I think it's, I'm not crazy about the idea. I mean, I think it's okay, but I mean, hopefully you can, I'm just concerned.
I don't see that. I don't see it any more than the larger volume of people that go in and buy that in the store right now, and I don't want to hurt that part of my license.
Right.
But there's just it's a much larger purchasing in the store, and if I had some sales stuff, I would share that with you if I could. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, and I think if it ever comes to that, the partnership we've created with the police department, I think we'll be able to handle that. But again, you look at all the controls that we have in place. If I'm the 4-hour window between an order and when I pick it up, if someone needs something that bad and then they're going to consume it in their vehicle, that 4 hours should help that purchase, should help that along. I think if I need something really fast, I'm going to go into the store, so now we're right back to the same problem. And hopefully, and we have stopped some of them. That same question still exists, is should I sell this to that person or not? And that's what we have, the wonderful cashiers that we employ, is to make that determination right now, and they do make it. There's more constraints placed on the purchasing of it. What someone does with it after they purchase it,
Right.
I can't speak to that. We don't have the problem right now in our parking lot that I'm aware of. I don't see why we would have that again. From an orange, they'd have to back out of the orange stall into a different one, but we don't have that problem right now.
Okay, Councilor Blakely.
Yes, I was just wondering, and this is totally putting the chief on the spot.
But I was going there too, so
Were
it's
you?
better you
Okay.
put him on the spot
I was
than
wondering
me. So.
if Chief Z could join you at the podium and maybe make a brief comment about foreseeable problems or how the police force is planning to handle your new addition.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I'm confident that with some of the issues we've resolved already, that we won't have a problem resolving the issue. Am I personally in favor of it? No, I don't really understand why you can't walk in and buy it, but okay, maybe it's technology. So that's not really, I guess, my decision point. I think if it becomes a problem, we do enough regulation that it would be brought to the Alcohol, Beer, and Liquor Licensing Committee's attention to take action on that license, right? So, I mean, if there were significant issues, we could go that route. But yeah, I mean, we've got a very good working relationship. We've resolved a few things already, so no issue there at all.
Okay. Any other questions or comments or concerns. I just want to close by saying I appreciate everything that you guys have done out there. I'm out there on a regular basis. So when we move it to the vote, I may not be voting in favor, but it's nothing against Walmart itself. It's just that, as I often say, I have to be able to sleep at night with decisions that I make, and I'm just not feeling 100% comfortable with this, but it's no reflection on the store itself, so I wanted to make sure that that is definitely known, but right now, I'm just not, I can't.
Yeah, I think it's okay to talk about, what this truly serves is the working class community that doesn't have time sometimes to shop. So, like for me and my wife, who's a school principal, time is a value for us. And if I can go online and place an order and not have to spend time at the place, with my kids, 35, 45 minutes, and we all have seen some shoppers in Walmart, and they're wonderful shoppers. They're wonderful shoppers. But I'm going to choose not to drag my kicking and screaming kids through Walmart. I can place the order and pick it up. And that's really what we're trying to do, along with the Save Money, Live Better, is really try to help those working citizens of Beloit save some time, so maybe they can spend some time with their kids watching a movie, playing a board game, putting a puzzle together. It'll save them that time.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? It's already been moved, it's already been seconded. All those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Passes 6-1. Thank you. Item 7.
Item 7A is consideration of a resolution for approval denial of the 2017-19 applicants for an alcohol beverage operator bartender's license for the period May 2nd through the 14th. You have before you tonight 13 recommendations for approval, 1 recommendation for denial, and the appeal time period has lapsed on that.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Preschel, is there a second? Second by Blakely. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 8, ordinances. We have none this evening. Item 9, appointments.
This is the Council President Committee Board Commission appointments for the 2018-19 City Council year.
Thank you. As Council President, I have the liberty of appointing councilors to various committees. After input from the councils, I have made the following recommendations. To the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee, Councilor Anderson. To the Appointment Review Committee, myself and Vice President Duncan. To the Business Improvement District, better known as the Downtown Beloit Association, Councilor Jacobson. Community Development Authority, Councilor Forback and myself. Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors, Councilor Preschel. Equal Opportunities Commission, Councilor Blakely. Landmarks Commission, Councilor Anderson. To the Library Board, Councilor Anderson. Metropolitan Planning Organization, Councilor Forback. Park, Recreation, and Conservation Advisory Commission, Councilor Jacobson. Plan Commission, Councilor Preschel. Traffic Review Committee, Councilor Blakely. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Duncan, is there a second? Second by Anderson. All those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, those are appointments for the upcoming year. Thank you. Item 10, council activities and upcoming events. Councilor Jake.
Excuse me, Mr. President, we have appointments for committee.
Okay, 9B, please.
The individuals that have been nominated for a seat will be subject to confirmation by the City Council. Approval of appointment will be accomplished by one motion unless a council member requests to take up a nomination separately, in which event the nomination will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point in the agenda. There are 3 appointments this evening to the Board of Appeals, incumbent Dustin Gronow, Landmarks Commission, Joy Beckman, and Plan Commission, Judy Robson.
Thank you. And I apologize for that. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Duncan, second. Second by Forback. Questions, comments? All those in favor of those appointments say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, those appointments pass. Now, item 10, council activities and upcoming events. Councilor Jacobson.
at a family wedding, and so I missed the farmers market and the first responders event that I would have liked to attend, but I had a great time at my family wedding, so congratulations to my cousin. Also, I wanted to just congratulate Mark and Paula and Jody in Public Works. When I worked at the city, I worked with all three of them closely, and they are outstanding employees, and so I'm happy to see them promoted and moving on. And it's hard because I think Paula did so great at the senior center. It's like you hate to see her go, like you wish you could kind of do it all. So that was helpful. And then also another kudos to Public Works, Professor H2O, I happen to know as an employee, and he seems to really be embracing that. And I saw pictures. They were at a I think a job fair at one of the middle schools, and they had a bunch of water resource stuff out. And working and having been, water resources is so hard to get to, but it is kind of an interesting place out there when it's not being smelly. And so I like to see them out there, and I like the stuff that they bring to the schools is really cool. And so I like to see employees sort of finding a niche of, you think typically they're kind of chemists out there, and I think that's really helpful to us. So I like to see that. And also my family's a big supporter of Public Works, so my dad was really kind of upset we were missing the farmers market where they were all out. So kudos to Public Works today. And I look forward to seeing my fellow counselors at the Memorial Day Parade on Monday.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. Or should I say the newly graduated Councilor Anderson? Got to put the hat on. You got to put the hat on.
Thank you. That's really all I had to say. Is that
Let's give him a hand. He did it.
Yeah, I was just going to thank you guys for the public shaming at the agenda review meeting. And finally made it so I can breathe a little bit. So that's all I have right now.
Okay. That vacation over spring break in New Orleans, that paid off, huh?
I guess so.
Councilor Blakely.
I got to attend the Equal Opportunities Commission's workshop last week. It was very educational for me. Clint was there, as was Nancy. 2 other counselors were there as well. There are so many areas of which we need to be aware, especially in this day and age, because there's a lot of prejudice still going on or coming back around. So the Equal Opportunities Commission not only calls attention to subtle and more blatant instances of racism and bigotry that still turn up here and there in our community, but also applauds efforts by departments such as the police that are making a huge effort to meet the public where it is and provide the kind of trusting relationship that will help improve relations among all people of all colors rather, and different backgrounds and so on in town. The Equal Opportunities Commission, as my colleague, the Vice President, will probably be reminding you of, is looking for a couple new members. We don't meet that often, so it's not a huge time commitment, and you're not required to go out into the community and do any kind of door knocking or anything of that extent. But we would enjoy your input, and if people out there are listening in and would like to be part of the group, just contact City Hall, and we would love to have you. I also got to attend a service for the first responders to end out the week in honor of our police and firefighters. The theme of the service at First Congregational Church was Do Justice, Embrace Faithful Love, and Walk Humbly with Your God. And the pastors addressing the crowd made a point of mentioning that people of all religions and people without religious beliefs even serve our community and do all they can to keep us safe. So thank you again and again to our first responders, some of whom had a chance to address the crowd. So we really appreciate you.
Councilor Forback.
Well, I was a little busy, But want to mention the farmers market and all the trucks. My husband and I live at the Phoenix apartment, so while I didn't go through the trucks and things, we got to look down and see how thrilled, especially the kids were, and just clambering around and wanting somebody to honk the horn and everything. And then I was talking to one of Lori's wonderful people, Ann, workers, and she had said that this is so great because the members of our Public Works Department were out there, and they talked about to different citizens about the golf course, about the swimming pool, about, all these kind of things, what's happening, the activities that are happening from the city this summer, et cetera. So it's more than just having the vehicles out there. I mean, it's a great time to touch our market and our clients, so that was great. Then I did have a chance to go to the EOC workshop that Sherry is talking about. It was very interesting. Of course, I learned a lot. You always do when people trust the group they're in enough to really talk about issues that are tough to talk about. Issues of racism and especially maybe the poor not being able to do some things. And so I learned a lot, and I would encourage anybody, citizen, to try to be on that EOC workshop and the EOC committee itself. Then I had the great opportunity today to attend a SLATS meeting, which is the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And I've been on that since I came on this committee. But I have to say, I think it takes you a while before you really are comfortable and begin to really find out what my function should be, representing the community and the council on that committee. Does really important work, and here we are when you talk about communication. These are all our counties and cities and townships on our borderline. So Wisconsin and northern Illinois is represented there, and people are talking, they know each other's names, etc. So again, people are working together to try to bring the very best we can to our citizens.
Thank you. Council Presho.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to what Nancy and Sherry and everybody have already said, except that I did. My apologies to the first responders. I could not make any of their events due to conflicts with work, and I did want to make a few of those, and just wasn't going to happen. So my congratulations to you guys, and my thanks for everything you do. I can tell from following things online and stuff that you've had a very busy couple weeks here, and I hope the officer who was injured last week is recovering nicely and is going to be okay. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you. Vice President Duncan?
I have a few.
You're already on.
Am I on already?
You were.
I just had a few things that I just wrote really quick. First of all, I attended the public meeting at the high school regarding the potential closing of 4th Street, along with some of my colleagues here tonight, and also with our school board. I was a little disappointed because we didn't get as much participation or more people come out. And so the thing that really disturbs me sometimes is that people kind of come in after the fact. So we want to involve the public of the process. So when you hear of these meetings, I hope you will take the time to participate and come out and ask your questions and also give your input. It's always welcome. And then also I want to mention that I attended the Appointment Review Committee meeting. We have many, many vacancies on our city committees, and it was really wonderful to be able to participate in it within the last couple weeks, and to hear the conversations that we had and how we are really looking for talented people to fill those positions. And then also I want to say congratulations to all the graduates. I know Beloit College had their graduation ceremony on Saturday, and I also want to mention that I'm looking forward to going to our farmers market on Saturday, and also participating in the Memorial Day Parade to honor our veterans. So special thanks to Matt Finnegan and all the members of Vets Roll. We are thankful for your service and for the service of all of our first responders. So thank you all for what you do to make our city a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have nothing this evening. Move to item 11, city manager's presentation. We don't have one this evening. Item 12, reports from boards and city officers. 12A, please.
Consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a development agreement for Beloit at 419 Pleasant Street. It's a community development investment grant.
Andrew, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is a follow-up item from last November when the City Council approved a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for a community development investment grant then being offered by the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. We made that application, and in February of this year, WEDC notified the city that we had been awarded a full allocation of $250,000. The purpose of this grant is support HCP's efforts to renovate the landmark structure in downtown Beloit located at 419 Pleasant Street into a 32-room boutique hotel. One of the requirements of the grant is for the city and HCP to enter into a development agreement to specify the grant's terms and conditions, and before you is that agreement. This is a pass-through grant, and no city funds will be spent on the project. Furthermore, HCP will be responsible for all the requirements provided in WDEC's grant agreement with the city, including all reporting requirements. And then lastly, the next item on your agenda is a companion piece that amends the 2018 capital budget that allows the grant funds to be received and dispersed. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I also have with us tonight John and Brian from HCP if you have any questions of them.
Thank you. We'll do 12A first. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Preschel. Is there a second? Second by Jacobson. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval of 12A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. 12B, is there a motion for approval? Motion by Jacobson. Is there a second? Second by Forbach. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Not. Hearing none, passes 7-0. 12C, please.
The council will adjourn into closed session pursuant to Section 1985 with stats for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties and investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, namely to discuss the sale of 505 Shoreland Avenue. The council may reconvene into open session.
Is there a motion to go into close? Motion by Forbach. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Blakely. All those in favor of going into closed session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to the conference room to the right. Just a simple reminder that we are in closed session right now, so please go directly to the conference room. Thank you. Is there a motion to go back into open session? Motion by Forback. Is there a second by Duncan? All in favor, say aye. Aye. To the matter at hand, to the resolution that we have. Madam Clerk.
This is a resolution authorizing the sale of 505 Shoreland Avenue to Ruben and Consuelo Rodriguez.
Is there a motion? Motion by Jacobson. Is there a second by Preschel? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. 12D, please.
The City Council may convene in a closed session pursuant to 1985 sub 1G Wisconsin Stats for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the government body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, specifically to receive an update on the city's claim against Winnebago Foundry. The council will not reconvene into open session thereafter.
Is there a motion to go into close? Motion by Forback. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second to go into closed session? No, thank you. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of going into closed session say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we are in closed. So we are in closed. Right.